Merry Christmas and welcome back to this festive special of the Unreliable Narrator. What could be more festive than this?
It's brilliant.
Doing that now.
Please tell me you wear that in public.
We all have watched back the festive edition of the Unreliable Narrator, and I'm sure we now all have perfect theories as to who the killer is. I think we should start with Santa, and then we'll work backwards through the chain. Because, why wouldn't you start with Santa? He knows everything. He knows who's been naughty and nice.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
So, Santa Paulie,
who
do we think was the killer of Holly Berry, Mr. Ray Ndia, and Faye Relights?
It's got to be Ewan under the tree.
That wasn't his name, but...
Ewan under the tree?
You're
wrapping presents under the tree.
Ewan wrapping presents.
Ewan wrapping at him.
Yeah.
Because for a shot in the dark, he got basically left out straight at the start, and there wasn't as much said about him, but I definitely think that he had the first, in your version, he had the first anagram or jumbled up word, so I'm going to go with him.
Okay, it's an excellent theory. We just paused there to move somewhere more festive.
Yay!
As you can see.
Hey, festive!
Festive! When I lean back, a skeleton. That's incredibly odd.
Yeah, it's horrible.
Anyway, so moving on from Santa's delightful effort there.
Paulie Santa.
On to festive elf. So, Alice, who do we think is the killer?
I think, just going off a quick, and I've probably, it's far too surface a detail to mean anything, but going off just a quick little anagram whip around, I think that Game and Iran and Marina Nager are both anagrams of Ian Amanger.
Okay.
And therefore,
he disappeared.
Wow. He turned and vanished.
Christmas magic.
Christmas magic.
Whoa! Like,
I'm
not being funny, but that's the best magic I've ever seen you, mate.
And therefore, all I've got is that Ian was the one that was forgotten, and therefore he killed people.
A lovely theory. Okay, we will go up the chain again to our other elf, somewhat less adorable, Javier, also known as Seb.
Chaos elf.
Chaos elf.
Yeah. I seem to recall, yes, in my one, I initially was retelling that Christmas pudding was dead, but that wasn't actually true. So, based on the fact that there were anagrams in there that I didn't get to write down and therefore do not know how important the words and letters are, I'm essentially going to follow Alice for exactly the same reasons, because I trust her judgment far more than mine.
In other words,
essentially, yeah.
For Seb.
Floating hat now.
Okay. I'm just speed again.
It's so good.
Hours of entertainment.
Joe,
who looks
Rudolph.
very so casual with his tree,
Yeah.
may I say.
Who once a Rudolph and is now a rhino.
Yep.
Did it?
Rhino.
I'm going to do a classic of... I have no idea. I don't have a clue. I don't even think it's a theory. It's the classic. I agree. Someone didn't get a Secret Santa present and they just went a little bit over the edge. And I'm going to say Nat, simply because she hasn't been said yet. So,
theory.
Hedging my bets and just going, you know what? They're all wrong. Maybe it's Nat. So,
perfect. And then finally,
Well,
the one who started us all off with all the necessary details that you would need to solve the case.
okay. Clearly, the answer is in those anagrammed messages of ridiculousness. So clearly, Alice is correct because she makes sense, and I trust her entirely. But for the sake of not following her,
I'm really sorry, but Mike is just He's going in and out. It's almost like it's like Back to the Future. He's like fading away.
Because I am the ghost of Christmas murders past.
Oh,
Ah, very good.
Lexi.
I'm going to go with Nat as well, because she said you have to remember my name's nativity or Nat, and I think there's clearly something dubious about having to have two names.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And also her voice was the most annoying.
It was. I was disappointed that the annoying voice didn't last very long.
Nah.
But you got a different one down the line. So
That's true, yes. Just the whole thing told in grating voice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got... I shouldn't disappear.
No,
We've
stop.
got...
Just pick up the paper. Pick up the paper.
I can't, it's under too many things. We've got 1 vote for Ewan, 2 votes for Nat, and 2 votes for Ian. Oh, what a nice spread. Well, in which case, as the skeleton appears behind me, it must be time for the real killer to be revealed. And the real killer of... What were their names? The real killer of
Hollyberry.
Hollyberry.
Fairy Lights.
Fairy Lights. And Mr. Ray Ndia was, in fact, Santa. You literally heard it at the start. It was Santa Claus. They saw Santa run away. Santa.
It was entirely disappointing.
Yeah.
No, it was someone dressed as Santa. I just wanted to see how you all responded.
Non-plus
She was so upset she vanished.
Plus. Like, hang on, that's poor plotting.
Yes, no, the actual answer was, perhaps unsurprisingly, Mr. Ian Manger,
Of course.
who indeed had been left out of his friend's Secret Santa. So he decided to kill them all.
I mean, it's a bit of a reaction, some would say.
Some would say, but some would also argue that
He's gone again.
Some would also argue. I'm going to move close to the camera. Some would also argue.
That's menacing. As you go, just wiggle forward towards the camera.
Some would also argue that it was entirely justified. There were, of course, many clues. Yes, you got all the various anagrams. The first names of the nonsense, like Dan Reary was an anagram of Ray Ndia. So the first anagrams were the names of the people who were killed, and the second anagrams was all anagrams of Ian Manger. Basically, they were all ridiculously convoluted anagrams to make you think there's probably something suspicious about this, because it is Christmas. I didn't want to make it that hard. The difficulty was supposed to be in the length and the fact you were rhyming, not in the murder. And
because there's not a chance in hell we'd remember a specific made-up word that wasn't actually a word.
No, this is what...
Where is the other clue?
Because I am also so kind, I also put in... It's not a defining clue, but it's something that should have pushed you in that direction. I thought there's just a little extra, which is that we heard in verse 1 that poor Holly, as she was fighting, did manage to plunge a candy cane into his eye, which might explain why Ian was
crying,
literally crying the entire time, and had such red eyes, because he was crying from the moment he went into the moment he left.
I'd argue that if someone put a candy cane in your eye, you'd be missing an eye.
No, it was a scratch. 'Tis but a scratch.
Well, into the eye implies an impalingness.
It would have been a bit obvious if the line was he was bleeding from his eyes.
Yeah.
Ian Manger.
Ian was next, a gash in his eye.
Ian Manger was missing an eye. There was no wonder that he did so cry.
That would have been a clue.
Anyway, well, it wasn't supposed to be. It wasn't how you solved it. It was just a little nudge in the right direction.
Well done.
And congratulations, I'm giving all the points to Adorable Elf and not Manic Elf, because that's the answer.
I don't deserve any. I'm happy to ride her coattails to glory.
Well, quite. And so that wraps up this festive edition.
Festive!
I'm never going to live this down.
If I do anything else, I disappear. But that wraps up this festive edition of the Unreliable Narrator. Thank you once again, suspects, for taking time out of your hectic Christmas schedules to join us for some ridiculous mystery solving. Hopefully, we'll be back in the new year with a brand new series of the Unreliable Narrator. I have already written several of the mysteries, and you'll be delighted to know they are not getting any easier.
Yay!
Write them within a week. I've now written them in advance, so there are there's some treats coming up. Some not so festive treats, but some delicious treats. So do at home, people join us in the new year. Have a wonderful Christmas from all of us.
Stay safe.
As best you can. Stay safe, stay warm, and stay festive.
Festive!